From the Washington Examiner. Ken Paxton launches election fraud investigation. This is big news. He said, secure elections, I believe this is yes, secure elections are the cornerstone of our republic. We were glad to assist when the district attorney referred the case to my office for investigation. We are completely committed to protecting the security of the ballot box and the integrity of every legal vote. This means ensuring accountability for anyone committing election crimes. He's basically saying, well, let me read. In one investigation, which has been ongoing since 2022, the OAG's Criminal Investigation Division executed multiple search warrants on Tuesday in Atascocita, Bexar, and Frio counties. The investigation launched after the office received a referral from 81st Judicial District Attorney Audrey Lewis regarding allegations of election fraud and vote harvesting that occurred during the 2022 elections. After gathering evidence, the office obtained search warrants to further the investigation. No other details are available since the investigation is ongoing. He also announced that there were groups trying to register people to vote outside of certain administrative buildings where you already were registered to vote inside, and that the only reason they'd be outside is because people who got turned away would then go to these other groups to try and get registered again, which is to imply these people are not eligible to vote and they're getting they're getting the registrations filled out illicitly. Texas, interesting. The polls are the narrative we're receiving now is that the polls are tightening in Texas. It was 9%. Now it's 7%. Now it's 5%.
Trump and Kamala?
Yep. Now it's 5%.
And Ted Cruz only have 2 points in the last point.
Right. So. And hey, man, I called this a long time ago that with the Help America vote verification system showing Texas getting hundreds of thousands of registrations with no IDs, something was wrong. And the hypothetical was they'll start reporting that Texas is actually a purple state and it's getting close and it could flip. That way, no matter what Trump wins, it's over. If Texas flips, Trump cannot win. If Trump wins every single swing state and loses Texas, he still loses.
Here's the other thing. Texas has even though Texas is like deep red and like good old boys and all that other stuff, and I say this as a lifelong native Texan, we have a very bizarre state government where the Speaker of the House or the Senate Majority Leader is a Democrat, and they basically just pick whoever they want. It's even though they just completely just try to take out Ken Paxton.
Correction. If Trump wins every swing state and Texas flips, Republicans still win by 2.
Oh,
but they are so if he would have to win every single swing state.
How many states is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just hit the map. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 states that are considered up for grabs right now: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. If Trump wins all of those and loses Texas, he still wins.
Wait, hold on. There's also those districts in Maine and Nebraska.
They're up there. So
I'm just saying, yeah.
Agreed. I don't see that. I mean, if Trump lost both of these, you want to know what happens if if both of these go? Let's.
Right. There's a way to do it where it's a tie.
Yep. And not that one. There is a way to do it where it's a tie. We went over this, and I forget what it is. I forget which states they have to win and Trump has to lose or whatever. But yeah, it could end up 268 to 268 if. Oh, I know. It's if one of the. I think if Nebraska goes full red, and then Trump wins a certain amount of states,
yeah,
it ends up as a tie or something. I think if Kamala wins PA, I don't know.
This is a great website, 270towin.com. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to find the tie.
Wasn't Missouri
pulled it up before?
Missouri really big on the registrations, and they're not coming through as rural registrations. They really had high numbers when we went over them a couple weeks ago.
I mean,
like them in Texas.
Yeah, Missouri had the large amount
Yeah.
of dead people
Yeah.
trying to register to vote.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of next generation, though, a lot of these illegal immigrants are going to have anchor babies. And I know we're not supposed to use that term, but like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah,
But that's
bad.
why
Probably
Democrats
end
do
birthright.
this.
Of course, yeah.
The-
Yes,
the-
I agree with you.
They're thinking long term.
Yes.
But we are at a point. This is what I was talking about yesterday. We are not voting for a president. We are voting for a system. The Democrats right now have entrenched themselves in a system where there's no primary. They choose who the candidate's going to be. There is no campaign at all. Kamala has no positions. She's advocated for nothing. Her website lists nothing. She was installed. Will you vote for that? Yes or no? Donald Trump he's got Agenda 47. There was a brutal primary where friends became enemies.
Yep.
Do you want to vote for that system?
But here's the other thing. This isn't really new because they did it basically in '08 with Hillary. And they remember Debbie Wasserman Schultz says, "Oh, we're having debates for maximum visibility." It's like 12 o'clock on Mother's Day, like just these bizarre.
You know what? 2016 or 08?
2016, excuse me. But in 08, for people to remember, the reason what you're saying, Tim, is not always a strength; it's also weakness. Because in 08, when Hillary was definitely going to be the candidate for the Democrats, and she had that ad about like, I want to make America wonderful, and let's have a conversation. It was completely innocuous, and then someone, a fan, made an ad of the 1984 Apple commercial and had someone swinging a sledgehammer and smashing into her face, and the Obama logo came out, and all of a sudden there was a race in their hands. So this whole like, I'm not going to have any policies on paper might be a smart move, but it does not really, at least it hasn't worked in the very recent past.
But my point is simply there are people screaming and cheering for a system. That is, Kamala was chosen, no one voted for her, and she has no policies, and there are people like, I'm voting for that.
But the thing is, that was the Biden campaign was, I'm not Trump. Trump sucks.
Oh,
Sure.
man.
Right,
This is
right,
like
right.
And it worked.
It's the same campaign today.
It's the same campaign.
It's the third
I
time they've
disagree.
run like this.
I disagree that it worked.
Because he's in the White House.
That's there's other things that, so Democrats didn't win the argument. They won
That's
the
correct.
procedure.
I'm not arguing with that at all. They did not win the argument.
So Biden's campaign of I'm not Trump is not winning an argument. They won procedurally.
Correct.
They had better lawyers. They had better a better ballot harvesting apparatus.
Sure.
And the Republicans had no idea what was going on.
Correct.
The Republicans were sitting there, were standing up there being like, if we argue the best, we'll win. And boy, howdy, did he argue the best. The metrics were showing that economically Trump should win, albeit COVID kind of jammed things up. And then ballot harvesting happens. And that's the simplest way to explain it. You also had things like voter in the park or whatever, things that were challenged constitutionally. You had Pennsylvania violating its own constitution to create universal mail-in voting, which I don't think is answered properly in the courts. Texas v. Pennsylvania was never answered properly. Democrats rules lawyered. They figured out the meta of the game and solved it. And the Republicans thought they were playing they were playing above board and they were going to win.
That's an argument for their Democrats. They know how to work the system better.
Right. So, but my point is, right now, the Democrats, I mean, fine, 2020 and now, the Democrats' whole thing is there is no election. I mean, since 2016 with ousting Bernie, the Democratic Party represents sit down, shut up, and let us figure this out.
But that's popular.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
But that's
So,
why
so
they're
right
copying-
now, the election is not Trump v. Harris.
I agree with. We're on the same page.
It is communist style of governance with the political party that chooses what you do versus constitutional republicanism, where friends become enemies and we argue. We have a primary and the popular candidate wins, and then he lists his agenda, and then we decide if we like what he has to offer.
I kind of like the first one in the
Superdelegates?
sense of I don't really want to hear from everybody. Like, I think we heard from a lot of people during COVID, and the things they have to say are not things I'm interested in hearing because they make no sense even on their own face. Like, why are we doing social distancing in March and then we're not doing it when the next wave comes? When what was it a mistake then or was it a mistake now?
Right, but the first system is those people in charge.
Right.
When was-
Not necessarily.
So this is-
the argument for some of these people in the Republican Party is like, we're going to become those people, which I don't think can be done, but that's their agenda.
The Democrat
That's
plan
the idea behind Project 2025, ostensibly.
is what?
That like we're going to get, because the whole idea behind Project 2025, if I understand it correctly, not how it's been maligned, is Heritage is like, okay, Trump's biggest Achilles heel is he had to drain the swamp by staffing the swamp, right? So if we put forward a bunch of people who are ready on day one, like Betsy DeVos, who have like an ideology and who could start reverse engineering this Leviathan, we can actually get things done. So that was their proposal. Like, here are the policies, here are the people, let's get going immediately instead of calling up Reince Priebus or asking Mitt Romney to be possibly Secretary of State. And then it's been demagogued.
And then it's like 6 months into,
Right.
whatever term.
And then it's been demagogued in this thing like, oh, he wants to ban pornography. Like, that's his whole agenda.
Yeah, I think that is. We just had Paul Dans on last night who created it.
Oh, okay.
Well, he was the
basically
director of
brainchild.
it.
Yeah. Or-
But they
And I'm
said,
sure he's not some kind of wacko. I'm sure he's
No.
very
No,
No,
mainstream.
it's all about organization.
Normal dude.
Exactly,
Very normal
Very
dude.
and,
Preparing the
and he said
deconstruction.
they've written this for every administration
course.
for 50 years.
Yes.
The Democrats are just pretending like it's something.
Correct.
I'm trying to figure out when were superdelegates introduced. Is it 1968?
It's been a long time.
That's the totalitarian
It's not totalitarian.
No, it's
though.
incrementalism.
Yeah, exactly.
superdelegates where they can say this is our candidate.
They
Voters sit down?
superdelegates aren't allowed to vote in the first round. So if there's an overwhelming primary, superdelegates don't do anything. But if the primary does not result in a clear winner, then they have a round of voting with no majority. Then the superdelegates can come in, and so they can stop, Obama if they wanted to, but they chose not to. But they did choose to stop Bernie Sanders. So
But
yeah,
the thing
it's
is, they also
political
have, but it also makes sense because they have skin in the game. Like, if I'm John Tester, I'm not excited about having Kamala Harris at the top of my ticket.
Republicans don't have this. I
and
think
Tester never endorsed her, right? Because he's
Is that true?
Yeah.
No way.
From Montana?
He hasn't endorsed Kamala?
No, he hasn't endorsed Kamala, and he's in such a tight race in Montana because I think, Montana's only Democrat, and he's vulnerable this year.
He won't win.
He's not going to. I think the Senate's gone for Democrat. Here's my prediction. West Virginia is obviously given for the Republicans. I think Tester's a goner. And of the three between Michigan, Nevada, and there's a third one.
PA's got one.
PA.
Casey's up.
One of those three is going to go Republican. No, Ohio's the third one. One of those three is going to go Republican. Of those three.
There's no way red state Democrat senator wins. It's just not happening. The polarization is too real.
Yeah.
I think so. And
I don't know. Nevada could go Trump in the federal, and Jackie Rosen could be reelected. It's not inconceivable to me.
Well, Nevada's a swing state.
Sure.
Montana and West Virginia are mega country.
Correct. Yeah.
I think Montana is actually Wyoming's the most.
Yeah, Jussie Smollett just got lynched there last week.
Wow.
A rough couple of years.
And but the corporate press won't tell you about that because they're bought and paid for by the Republicans.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.